Hi, this is Anil and welcome to the video tutorial for the YouTube channel Learning Guide on C programming. So in this tutorial we're gonna be seeing a unary operator called sizeof. The sizeof unary operator is a compile time operator and it returns the length in bytes of a variable or the data type. Now for example, when we use a integer variable in our program, in my system it's gonna take 4 bytes in memory, and the sizeof operator can be used to get the size a particular variable or a data type takes in memory in your system. So the sizeof operator is called a unary operator, that just because it just operates on one operand. And you can see here when you can pass the data type or the variable name to this sizeof operator, and it just returns the length in bytes of a variable and also the data type specified using the parentheses. So now we're gonna see how we can use this sizeof operator in our program. So first I'll be creating a variable of type integer and I'm gonna call it as var. Next I'll be using the sizeof operator to determine the length it takes in memory. So I'm gonna be using the printf statement to print that out. So I'm gonna be writing %d here, and next we need to use the sizeof operator. So it's going to be size of, then the variable name, which is var here. So another thing I want to teach you is if you are using the variable name with the sizeof operator, you don't need to use the parentheses. I mean, you can use this if you want, but it is optional. So if you are using the data type with the sizeof operator, then you need to use the parentheses. It's must. So first I'm going to save this one, then execute, compile and run. You can see here this var variable, which is of type integer, is going to take 4 bytes in my computer. So now I'll be using the data type here. I'm going to be using the parentheses and the data type, which is int. And also I'm going to comment this one out, save, compile and run. You can see here this integer data type is going to take 4 bytes in memory. I mean, a variable of type integer is going to take 4 bytes in memory. Similarly, you can use this for float. Change that one to float and compile and run. 4 bytes. And also for char, save, compile and run. You can see here 1 byte. So depending on the data type and the length it takes in bytes in memory, the sizeof operator just returns that one. So now we're gonna see how we can use this sizeof operator on an array. So I'll be creating an array of variables which is of type integer of around 10, and I'm gonna use that one here. So I'm gonna use the variable, so it is var, and also I'm just using this parenthesis which is optional. So save this one, compile and run. You can see here it takes 40 bytes in memory. That's because a single variable of type integer is going to take 4 bytes, and in this var array we have 10 variables of type integer. That's why 10 into 4 is going to be 40 40 bytes in memory. Similarly for float, char or any other type of arrays. So the last thing I want to teach you in this tutorial is about using the sizeof operator with a structure. So first I'll be defining a structure. I'm using the struct keyword, then the structure name, let me call it as student, and let me define the members of this structure. So first let's have a variable of called roll number. Next we're gonna have a character array of type name, and let me define a size of around 10. So I'm gonna save this one, and I'll be using, okay, let's create a variable of type this student. It's gonna be, let's call Anil, and I'm gonna be passing that Anil variable here to this sizeof operator. Now this sizeof operator is gonna return the length in bytes taken by this variable Anil, which is a structure variable. So execute, compile and run. You can see here 16. Okay, hold a minute, we're gonna count that. This integer is gonna take 4 bytes, so it's gonna be 4. Then this character type is gonna take 1 bytes, and we have a character array of size 10, so it's gonna be 1 into 10, which is 10 plus 4 14. But we are getting 16 here. That's because when we use structures in our program, the compiler is going to do structure alignment. So the structure alignment is nothing but the ability of the compiler to insert the unused memory into a structure, so that the data members are optimally aligned for better performance. So just for the performance issue, the compiler is gonna add some unused memory to the variables, and make it suitable for faster read and write operation. That's why the compiler adds some additional bytes to the members of the structure. That's why we are getting the size of 16. The next thing I want to teach you is what is the use of this sizeof operator. It helps us to generate portable code that depends upon size of the built-in data types. Suppose if you want to generate a portable code, then sometimes you need to know the size of data types which will be taken in memory. So that's why at that times we can use this sizeof operator. And also the sizeof operator is used to allocate memory dynamically using the malloc and the other functions. So I'm going to be explaining that one in the tutorial about the malloc. So this is it, guys. This is about the sizeof operator in C. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next tutorial.